Hello, everyone. Welcome to the As Above, So Below show. My name is Meg Moonbeam, and I'm here with the lovely Ashala. Hi, Ashala. How are you?
Hi, Meg. Another station heard from. We were just about to go live, and the beautiful kitty cat in the background at Meg started
Yeah.
piping up and having a lot to say.
Yes, Ocean is meowing over here. So he's a
Oh,
Siamese tabby, half Siamese. So if you guys hear some meows, that's our little Ocean over here. Yeah, so thank you guys so much for joining us. This is a very special As Above, So Below, as we're in this very interesting week of there's Ocean. He agrees with us. Major week of developments for humanity. So, we're going to be getting into that with the tarot and the astrology and our intuitive insights. So, thank you all so much for joining us. And before we get started, please remember to like, share, and subscribe to the Beyond Mystic YouTube, Rumble, and X channels. And check out Ashala and I's one on one readings that are available at consultations.beyondmystic.net. Ashala does amazing psychic tarot readings. I'm so excited. I've got a Ocean, please. I've got a tarot reading booked for next week or the week
yeah,
after. We've
next week.
yeah, we've
Next
got
week.
it in our schedules next week. So I'm so freaking excited for that. And yeah, do you want to talk a little bit, Ashala? Are you noticing any themes in your readings lately? Like what's coming up?
Mhm. Well, I've been very focused on working on my dream analysis course, which is
Yeah.
coming out. We just finished production today, and it's coming out in the next. I think it's the third week in February, so we have that
Hmm.
to look forward to. And I want to say that doing all of that research and reminding myself about how we can work with the layers of our subtle energy bodies, the subconscious, the interdimensional realms, all of that has just been really reminding me
Hmm.
how important it is to stay close in your own heart and in your own intuitive nature. Keep I just almost am hearing, stay low to the ground, stay close to your heart
Yeah.
with discernment and wisdom, and that the any attempt with all that's going on in the world right now, and I'm saying this because I'm seeing this with my clients, any attempt to quickly grab onto something and say, that's it.
Mm.
We're in the clear now, and we can finally woohoo say, you know the best is ahead of us. I mean, I love one of the things I love about
Yeah.
Trump's inauguration speech. I mean, I just love the spell casting. I love the this beautiful image, for the most
Right.
part. I mean, I might have made some changes personally to how I would
Yeah.
describe a perfect America or new world or whatever, but just this vision of beauty and harmony and expansion, a positive energy perspective is so important at this
Mhm.
time, and to have a vision.
Yeah.
However, it's important as well that we each listen and follow our own directives. So I use the analogy with my clients and my friends and family this week. The door's wide open right now,
Yeah.
right? It's almost like some massive door has opened.
Yeah.
We don't have to follow the one person that we believe is responsible for opening the door. We don't have to follow them through exactly their way. We all get to go
Mm.
through that door. We can all choose how we want to, like, show up and express ourselves. How do we want to put our ideas into the pot? It's not just, the Trump brand initiative of the new America. We all have ideas of how things could be
Right.
improved, and every one of us has a valuable contribution. So
Mhm.
I'm encouraging people to stay in their hearts and see this as an opening, not to follow one, but for the many to find their own leadership and direction through.
I love that, Ashala. And that's totally, for me as an astrologer, that Aquarian frequency, now that we're in Pluto in Aquarius and the age of Aquarius, we're right at the precipice of that. It's not about one person is the savior of humanity. It's all of us together, waking up together, being in alignment with freedom and those kind of utopian Aquarian values together. And I'm so happy that you're starting with this because yeah, it's important for us to be having discernment. We're at such a critical point in, I hope you don't mind me saying, Ashala, a spiritual war. I consider what we're in kind of like a spiritual war, a battle between light and dark. And I think it's positive that we're celebrating and we're happy and we're joyous, but this is also a moment where we need to be very mindful of any infiltration, any weird intentions. So just discernment, 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 you guys. But of course, we can celebrate. And seeing here in the comments, some of you mentioning the press conference that President Trump just did. I think we are going to bring that up in the show. A couple of you guys are bringing comments. So we will bring that up. Very, very interesting. So we'll get to that. But before we get to that, you guys, uh, Ashala has a new dowsing workshop, level 2 dowsing workshop on metal rods over on the Beyond Mystic Academy. So that is now available. Congratulations, Ashala. We've got some very good comments in the chat. We've got Lynn says, I just did Ashala's level 2 dowsing course and it was great. Thank you, Ashala. Wonderful. Thank you, Lynn, so much for that. Do you want to just speak on this a little bit, Ashala, your new awesome workshop that's available?
Yeah, thank you, Meg.
Mhm.
Well, this is the part two that goes a little bit deeper into the practice of dowsing from my pendulum dowsing level 1 course. Now, in case you haven't done these courses, I really recommend that you start with part 1 and then go on to part 2, because I give a lot of the background information in part 1 that's kind of really helpful and valuable to have going a little deeper into the practice. But yeah, with the dowsing workshop metal rods or dowsing rods, we're looking at how to take this practice into doing healing work and clearing work, how to take it into your home, on your land, even into the area that you live in, and start to develop a relationship with the features on the land, on the ground, things like ley lines. You know, it sounds so way out there and esoteric, but there's a lot of science in this work. And I bring
Mhm,
that science, I bring the practical tools. It's actually a lot easier and more fun to work with than you might think.
mhm.
And yeah, it's just an amazing, it was, I have to say, Meg, just a quick little disclosure in my personal story. This was the thing that literally turned me on to spirituality and the meta beyond physical when I was,
Mhm,
I think, about maybe 18. And
mhm.
I ended up being brought to this workshop by an old timer that had used dowsing rods to determine where there was water on the land
Oh,
or
wow.
beneath the ground. And I'm there just like, you know, totally irreverent teenager, just being like troublemaker and rebellious. And he's
Yeah.
like, hey, do you want to volunteer? And I was like, sure, you know, I don't believe in any of this stuff. And I got up there and I held the rods, and then he got me walking and stuff. And I started walking. And then all of a sudden, literally those rods just went wonk and opened. And I was like, okay, I did not do that. I did not do that. And that was like something
Wow.
turned on in me. And I was like, whoa, that's pretty wild and spooky. And you know, then I really just got curious. And it actually was sort of like the gateway for me to open me to a lot of other beliefs around the power of the supernatural.
Mm.
So,
That is
so
so cool.
kind of full circle, bringing people back into working with the rods.
Yeah, and like you said, one of those really ancient modalities that used to be normal, right? And
Yeah.
is now considered woo-woo. Oh, you work with metal rods, you must be freaking crazy. No, this is normal. It's literally like a spiritual science.
Well, you know, it's considered woo woo and crazy, except for the high level military
Exactly.
and,
Right.
you know, big corporations and stuff like that. They all use it.
So true. That is so, so true. So
Mhm.
go check that out. That's available on the Academy. So, okay, Ashala, before we get into particular topics, there's a lot going on. Could we do like a general reading on us as, uh, do we want to do for the whole world or do we want to do for our community specifically? What do you think?
Hmm. You know what? I'd like to do both.
Okay.
So I'm going to
Sounds
do the
good.
world 3 cards at the top and more
Okay.
our unique community 3 cards at the bottom.
That sounds
And
awesome.
just kind of get The above, so below.
Yes.
Maybe we should be on the top, but no, somehow I felt that we were on the bottom, sort of grounding things,
Yeah.
and holding that line, holding the bottom
Mhm.
line, staying close to the ground. It's
Yep.
kind of what I was just saying earlier, right?
Mhm.
Okay. And interestingly, I also just bought a new tarot deck. I buy new decks like every, I don't know, 3 or 4 months because I use them so much, right?
Right.
But I actually had it for the last week and I kept forgetting to open it up. And today I was like, oh no, we need a fresh start. We need a fresh
Yeah.
start. It feels like we need a fresh start. Okay.
Yes.
So let's start with our community down here on the bottom.
Mhm.
Uh-huh. And so we're really grateful. We're doing the happy dance. This is celebration. This is reciprocity. It's kind of like sorry, the cards are jumping around because they're new. This is
Yeah.
sort of like we're feeling encouraged, positive, hopeful. This is in the material realm, like we're looking
Mhm.
forward to some prosperity and some better times ahead. But already we're like, wait a minute. The dew is off the rose
Mm.
already a little bit, and suddenly things could go in any number of directions. There's a lot of factors spinning around here right now. And um, I noticed what Janine had said about we got the toe in the door,
Yeah.
but it's really funny because I'm actually seeing it's almost like a revolving door. So we're still in this revolving door energy. And I use
Mhm.
that analogy about a door opening as well. So I really feel like we are looking at something portal like. We are looking at some kind of doorway and it's still spinning around. So we want to hold the groundedness and we want to make sure that we're not just acquiescing. This card is like Eight of Cups. It would be where you would acquiesce just to kind of keep the peace. You'd be like, you know what?
Right.
We've won a battle. Let's not worry about the war. And I hear you, Meg. I think we do need to stay on the war.
Mhm.
And yeah, we've won several battles, but we are still in the war, is what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
Okay, now let's look at the world at large,
Ooh.
outside our community. So also feeling really like, well, this could be a good thing. Things could improve. Oh, interesting. Very similar. First take out of the gate is like, woohoo, this is, you know, especially for people in the US. It's like, oh my gosh, the
Mhm.
economy is going to improve, our taxes are going to go down or disappear, things are, and yet already there's like defenses going up. Something.
Right.
So both this card and this card are a little bit like we're a little bit hesitant to trust entirely.
Mhm.
And okay, so interesting. Uh it feels like the general population is just going to stay kind of guarded in general,
Right.
but they're going to be willing to try on these new things. They're kind of in an exploratory mood. We are a lot more serious here
Yeah.
in our community. We're a lot more like, yeah, it's going to be harder to sort of just pull the wool over our eyes, and we're really keeping our eye on this revolving door. So
Mhm.
that's what I'm getting.
Yeah, for sure. That's awesome. Thank you so much, Ashala, for that. Totally, totally resonates. Okay, so let's take a look here. Oh, we're getting a lot of comments on the live chat, a lot of people tripping out. Okay, I did get a chance. I've been doing going off on another side note here for just a sec, but I've started doing castor oil packs. Have you ever heard about that before, Ashala? So
Mhm.
I've started doing castor oil packs for hormonal balance to help with my menstrual cycle, some issues that I've got going on with that. So I'm at a point now where a few times a week, every other day, I have to lie down, and I'm very like hyperactive kind of ADD. I have to lie down, do the castor oil pack, and kind of occupy myself with something. So I just did my castor oil pack and I listened to, which by the way, if you've never heard about that before, sorry, I'm going in a little bit of a different direction here, but castor oil is the strongest oil that goes deeper than any other oil, and it literally shrinks tumors. It's like good for your liver, for your lymphatic system, balances hormones. It's good for so many things. So go check out castor oil, you guys. It's amazing. Have you ever heard of castor oil before, Shala? And
I
some of the
have
stuff that it
been
does?
using it for decades, and it's also referred to as palm of Christi or the
Wow,
palm of Christ. The
that's
palm of
so
Christ,
beautiful.
like the healing hand of Christ, it's referred to.
Oh, that's so beautiful. So
Mhm.
yeah, just listen to President Trump's, I don't know if this was a press conference or what, but it was major announcements. So a lot of us are tripping out in the live chat, like going, okay, what the heck? Because if you guys haven't watched it yet, he announced a new venture called Stargate to invest 500 billion in AI infrastructure. Okay, interesting. We want to learn more. And then one of the three CEOs that he had on the stage with him on the podium said this. So I'm going to play this very short clip of Shaw. It's only 40 seconds long. So this is what got me, and this is why a lot of us are really tripped out right now. Let's listen to it and then talk about it.
Once we gene sequence that cancer tumor, you can then vaccinate the person, design a vaccine for every individual person to vaccinate them against that cancer. And you can make that vaccine, that mRNA vaccine, you can make that robotically, again, using AI in about 48 hours. So imagine early cancer detection, the development of a cancer vaccine for your particular cancer aimed at you, and have that vaccine available in 48 hours. This is the promise of AI and the promise of the future. Once we gene
Okay, so this is Oracle CEO Larry Ellison envisions a future where AI revolutionizes healthcare by detecting early stage cancer and creating personalized mRNA vaccine therapies tailored to individual needs. Ellison, the co-owner of Oracle, has ties to the CIA through the company's origins. Oracle's journey began with a project known as Project Oracle, partially funded to develop a database for the CIA. The company's name was inspired by this very contract, with Oracle serving as the code name for the CEI's groundbreaking database initiative. Okay, this is a total, right, Ashala? We've been talking about this. Total Pluto Kazemi moment in Aquarius. What the F is going on? Okay, so first impressions, Ashala, then I'll share a little bit. I'll share some of your guys' comments. First impressions about that.
Yeah, it's shocking, and it is also like it takes me way back. I
Yeah,
think I remember in the beginning, it was probably either the fall of 2019. I think it was the fall of 2019. There was a series that went out on Netflix. There was two series. One was
yeah.
about a pandemic, and the other one was about this future of these universal vaccines that would
Mhm,
would be tailored by our DNA and
mhm,
would like fix everything that's wrong in our bodies.
mhm.
And I remember hearing that, and just it was so fantastical back then. It was like, "What?" And then I was like, "Oh, something. These are big, like, yeah, these are big
Yeah.
drops of some kind." And it feels like this has been cooking on the back burner forever. They've been talking
Mm,
about this forever. So the question is not, are these companies, is this their agenda?
right,
Who is in bed with who? The question is, what is the Trump administration going to do? What kind of action are they going
right,
to take on this? And the fact, as you pointed out, Meg, that there wasn't a really big like, oh yeah, okay, I see. This is where you guys are at, and this is what you value, and this is your plans. But just so you know, we're not going to be doing that. Like, not even an
right.
acknowledgement about that is, yeah, that's definitely a red flag for me.
Yeah, that's definitely a red flag. So I guess could we do a poll? I was going to call you Janine, Ashala on. Okay, we know, right? We're hardcore freedom lovers. A lot of us in this community. If you're new, hello, welcome to Beyond Mystic. I'm Meg. This is Ashala. Hello. We know the game plan. So we know, like you said, this goes way back. We know that there's dark factions. I like to call them dark arts groups. Okay, cabal, if you want to, that they want to inject us to cut off our connection to universe and God and mess with our health, yada, yada. We know that. So surprising to hear that from an AI CEO? No, but surprising to see that with President Trump on his first full day of office? Yes. Yes. Right. So could we do a read on, is this tied? And I guess this is a very heavy question. If you want to shift the Shala, we can. Is this at all tied to Trump? I guess this is several different questions. Was he aware of this? Does this have anything to do with Trump and Trump's group, the people around him? Or was this just a dude that happened to be on the stage, kind of from one of those darker factions, and said what he wanted to say? Does that make sense? Do you want to shift that question
Yeah.
in any way?
Yeah, I'm going to actually lay two piles. I'm going to lay one
Okay.
pile on the one side. It's going to be, does this have something to do with Trump, or is this just a renegade? And, Trump is still needing to somehow, I guess, sort of pussyfoot around with it, or
Yeah.
so let's look at those two versions and just see where things are at right now. So this would be where there is a connection.
Okay.
And if there is a connection, what is the purpose of that connection? What is that about? Okay, well,
Right.
okay, I'm going to play both devil's advocate, and I'm also going to advocate for Donald Trump as well.
Right.
So the both of them are advocates, by the way.
Yeah.
So basically what I see here is that there have been negotiations. They are, in a way, corporately and in the economic system. These are people that have done business together before. They're in the same business community, the same corporate club, you could call it. So on a financial, because this is all money, this is all based on money. So it's almost like it could be something to do with where Trump has, I'm going to advocate for him and say he knows that this is going to cause a big fuss, but he needs to get these guys on side to make some of the first maneuvers in the direction that he wants to take the economic thing. So I think it's kind of a bit more like there's background, like long-standing background relationships and deals.
Okay.
And let's see over here now, is this guy just renegade and was looking for his oh yeah, okay, so this guy, right? This guy might have just been like, he knows his time is up, because he's definitely of the guy that spoke is from the old system, right? The dark art system. And
Yeah.
he was having his last kick at the can, I think.
Okay. Well,
So,
that's a bit of a relief, but I kind of just, sorry, Ashala, because there's so much going on. I tuned out for just a little bit when you did that first pull. So were you getting, what was my question there? Sorry.
okay, what I was getting there is
Yeah.
that I think he's making a business, like a financial maneuver.
Financial.
If you think of
Got it.
chess, he's
Yeah.
doing it. It's almost like there's different chessboards. And unfortunately, I think the part that frustrates me the most, and probably you, Meg, and a lot of us here in the Beyond Mystic crew, is
Yeah.
that none of these players seem to be operating on a spiritual chessboard yet. They're all on like
Yeah.
financial, political, military, like it's all this very power-based stuff, right? We want to get
Yeah.
beyond that and operate on another level of decision making and strategy. And they're still down here in like the old rough it out, rough and tumble, like backroom deal
Right.
stuff, right? So it's like, yeah, I feel like they've been in bed together, so to speak, over a really long period of time. And there's these perhaps even because this is a lot about relation, like woven together, like married in with each other's families and stuff. So it's like he can't just throw this guy under the bus. But this guy is also kind of under the bus. So I think it was a little bit of that's the most hopeful way you could read this.
Right.
Yeah. that would be the hopeful way you could read this.
Is there another way that you could read those cards?
You could say that they have a plan.
Yeah.
I still think this is more of a plan about money than it is about
Okay.
control.
Yep.
So the good news is I don't think they are in collusion related to controlling humanity.
Mm-hmm. And
But
that was, yeah.
yeah,
And I'm, oh, sorry.
they could be in collusion around money. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, for sure. And it's interesting because, and of course, I could be wrong and I'm very open to being wrong. I, want to be on the side of real deep truth. But it was interesting because before this crazy guy came on and then the other two CEOs, they just spoke very, very general. Okay, thank you for the opportunity. We're so happy. It was this Larry guy that made it really weird. Before that, Trump just said, yeah, we're going to invest in this new Stargate. And it was all about finances, from my understanding. It was all the pentacles energy of this is going to bring in massive wealth, 100,000 new jobs, he said, effective immediately. So it was very much that pentacles energy. I mean, you guys, sorry to creep you out, but look at his eyes.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
that's for me, just side note, the eyes tell everything from a person.
Mm-hmm.
And some of these people that are highly questionable, all you have to do is look at the eyes.
Mm-hmm.
So that's interesting. Okay. So again, discernment, we need to keep our eyes on that. Now, it didn't literally come from President Trump's mouth. It didn't come from his mouth, right? So, about the mRNA vaccines, it came from Larry's mouth, but I don't like from, and, putting aside the whole, uh, you know, we're watching a movie and it's playing out. Okay, I'm open to that totally. But also I don't like, just from a 3D perspective, that Trump didn't get up there and say, actually, F that. No, we're not interested in that. Because I'm about to have my boy, Bobby, come forward and be the new health secretary. So this is kind of a little segue I want to get into next, if that's okay, Ashala. And before that, just to share some of your guys' comments, because I love getting everybody's input in the live chat. Thank you so much. Foxy Bishop says, outing the vaccines to the normies. Okay, could be very sensitive topic for a first day, though. So I would be surprised if that was kind of in the game plan. Radiant One says, I still feel Trump may be outing them. And instead, tug of war, where was RFK? Good water and food gets rid of parasites and hence cancers.
Mm-hmm.
The unraveled RN. A lot of people are not going to like those AI comments in relation to health. Mark Atwood went off on it on X. I mean, yeah, look at us all in the live chat as a community, you guys. Everyone's going to be freaking the heck out right now. And I think to the point where, could we do just, and you can pull this however you want, Ashala, but is Trump going to have to answer for this? Is this something that either tomorrow, this week, or at some point, someone's going to ask him the question through either mainstream news or a podcast about this, where he's going to have to speak on what just happened here?
Mm-hmm.
Tree hugger for Trump. It was shocking. Yeah.
Okay. Yes, he's going to have to answer for it. He's going to have to answer for it. I think it was a surprise. I think it was a surprise to him.
To him.
Yeah. Now, he's definitely very adaptable human being and we're ready. We're just about to come into the year of the snake.
Mm-hmm.
So I was really noticing the snake energy on this Wheel of Fortune card.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's almost like, let's see how we are supposed to go forward, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we're supposed to go forward, almost like, the way you set boundaries with children. So let's just say you say, okay, Trump, we get it. You probably still have to play some kind of game with these guys as they're getting cleared out, and for all the different ways that this is the most ideal way for it to play out. And that there's a bigger plan here. Losing a small battle to win a bigger war or something like that.
Mhm.
But I think that we all need to make a sort of sovereign declaration to ourselves and say, okay, we're going to give this a few months. We're going to watch. Like, we're not going to jump on every single thing, because if we jump down every single thing that gets said, well, that's
Yep.
going to bog the whole system up too, right? People are just
Yeah.
going to, even new truthers coming on, new people that are waking up are going to come on and go, everybody disagrees on everything. There's no cohesiveness in our community. So I think we need to just like keep our eye on it and say, okay, like, basically, we trust you, that you know that you just totally did a total like
Right.
hypocritical thing there.
Right.
And at some point you're going to need to speak to that, and that you
Mm,
are playing these very complex strategic games as things get underway, and that we'll trust you that it might look pretty crazy as it has
yeah.
been, but we're watching, right? And we're going to say, we're going to check back in on this. We're going to check back in a
Yeah.
month. We're going to check back in, 6 months for sure. We're going to see, where is that company at? Are they doing this? Is this testing in place? Are these vaccines being given to people? Like, we
Mhm.
need to keep on this. This is an opportunity for us to say, yeah, just because Trump is at the wheel
Right.
doesn't mean that the ship is not still full of craziness. And
Yeah.
maybe he doesn't quite, he's not perfect, and maybe he
Yeah.
doesn't quite know what kind of a ocean he's sailing in.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And it does make sense. I mean, I am surprised because we keep getting the Wheel of Fortune card. You and Janine keep pulling the Wheel of Fortune card a lot lately from what I've seen. And Aquarius is surprises. Today's exact Sun conjunct Pluto. Pluto is the dark arts people and the dark side of life. In Aquarius, surprises, technology, AI. So it's literally, and I'm getting chills as I say this, the sun is highlighting it. The sun is going, like grandfather sun is going, don't forget about this, because this is still going on in the background as a plan. Don't forget about this. And oh my God, there's so many things I have as questions.
I'm chilling with you. I
Yeah.
hear you're
And
right on. Yeah.
I want to be wrong about this, but I've been feeling this the past couple days, which is, and maybe we could do a read on this too, if you'd like. There may be certain parts of the world that really do play out this darker expression of Aquarius more so than others.
Mhm.
And I also have like chills all over my whole body as I'm saying this for some reason. With the mRNA cancer vaccines, as Larry is saying, or just AI or digital IDs. America has highlighted, America is the freest country in the world, right? Not every country is there yet. So
Mhm.
it's kind of like grandfather son highlighting Pluto, like, don't forget the dark side of the Pluto Aquarius, because we are going to see that over the course of the next
Mhm.
20 years. I do believe, because we are at the precipice at the age of Aquarius, that by the end of this 20-year transit, and I don't think it's going to take like 20 years, but we will be in much brighter waters. We will have overcome a lot of this darker side of technology, but we have to face it. We
Mhm.
have to face it,
We
right?
do. We do. We
We
do.
do.
I remember my younger daughter many years ago. Gosh, it must be about 10 years ago now. And I had seen a movie or a show on smart cities in China. And this was just the beginning of this stuff, right? Where the first
Right.
time you ever saw it, and I was watching some PBS documentary or something, and I was absolutely mortified. I was just
Yeah.
like, oh my gracious, I
Yeah.
can't even believe that I'm living in a world where something like this could happen?
Yeah.
And it was so interesting. My daughter just said, Mom, yeah, that maybe some people have to, that's what they came here to have. And we didn't come here to have that. We're not going to live in that reality. Like, we're going to
Mhm.
make every decision to steer us away from that. But maybe that is a timeline that certain people on the planet will need to experience. And for quite a while, I was like, no way, man, not on my watch.
Yeah.
It isn't. I just
Yeah.
can't. I don't want to be on a planet where that's even happening. Um,
Right.
and And so it isn't that I think it's a good thing, but is it maybe a necessary thing to get, it's sort of like, an addict getting to the bottom of the barrel, right? Like
Mm,
on some level, we have to see just like, where does this AI technology overload? Like, obviously, technology is here to stay, and AI
yeah,
can be used in such an ethical,
yeah,
responsible, and really beneficial, mutually beneficial way in the future. But boy, are we at a critical node where we better get real clear about how we're going about that and the spiritual ethics that underlie that, or we're just going to
mhm,
be in the absolute, you know, crazy scene.
definitely.
Yeah.
Yep. That's so true and such a good point. And it is kind of scary a little bit. And I'm kind of getting that feeling in the live chat too, just even around the Stargate proposition, because this is totally new Aquarian territory, right? Where we don't really know what this means. 500 billion being invested in AI. I mean, this is still a very new kind of technology. So would you and then I kinda wanna get to RFK Jr., if that's okay, Ashala. Could we
Yes.
do a reading on this Stargate venture?
Mhm.
What is this looking like for
Mhm.
humanity or however you wanna frame that?
Mhm.
Because this looks like it's about to ramp up fast from that being the first thing on the first full day of office that
Yeah,
comes out to
and what was it? 500 billion. Where is that coming?
5
Where does that come from?
those 3 CEOs invested the 500 billion that were on the stage with him.
Hmm. Well, this would be something coming, like it can't hold out much longer. Something coming to an overburden, end of the line sort of energy. So
Mhm.
this, you asked about what is this whole Stargate phenomena,
Yeah,
the corporation, the intention, why
right.
Trump is putting money towards it. Okay,
Mhm.
so um yeah, I don't know. I think I have to say, I, the jury's still out on this. It probably won't be easy to fully discern, maybe
Yeah.
even for a few months or possibly even a couple of years. But I would definitely keep an eye on this, because when you got this card is like let's just say it, call it high administration.
Mhm.
Hierophant is sort of like the upper echelons of the leaders, not just in our, like, certainly not just politically and military wise, but the thinking leaders in thought. And then we have this scientist kind of, so very much about academia.
Mhm.
And there's a big push to lead the science, lead the new technology, lead in this part. And in his inaugural speech, Trump did very clearly delineate how important it is to be leaders in the space program. And obviously the AI technology that's going to launch us into space in a bigger way, and so on. And so I feel like this is definitely in that, let's just call it the academic club.
Right.
And I'm going to pull two more cards. Yeah, it's almost like it's just been waiting for the go ahead.
Mhm.
um oh my gosh. Okay. Like, it's a little bit, there's a little bit of innocence and humorous here. It's like, the boys with their toys kind of thing. And I'm just, yeah, that
Mm.
it's a bit almost fantastical to
Yeah.
me, right? Hmm.
It does. And sorry to interrupt you, Shal, but I'm just kinda getting intuitively that I don't feel this is gonna work the way that they're thinking it does, and that kinda makes sense with your Page of Cups. It's like, "Here's this amazing idea. Okay, 500,000,000,000, okay, this is such an infrastructure that has never been done before based on technology, which is not nature, which could be shut down." What if there's a natural disaster? What if there's a solar flare? What if there's a cyber attack? I mean, there's no way to make it invincible.
No, it is You know, with these, if you put all these cards together, like these guys, okay, this is definitely like, we know what we're doing. We're the experts. We have all the technology and the research and the this and that, and we know what we're doing. Meanwhile, it's sort of like a very childlike hubris of like, we're playing
Yeah.
because we can, because we got cool big toys and we want to use them.
Yeah.
And it, you know, it's not evil or bad to have those desires and to be like, I truly think there's some real it's the spirit of the adventurer, right? Like this is not a bad evil thing. But do we really want to give that energy full reign of all of our money, all of our, you know, where there's so much to clean up here on planet Earth and to fix and resolve and heal and grow and like, and this is probably not the time to jump in our craft and take off to somewhere else, right? It's just a
Right.
little, yeah.
Yeah. Totally. I totally agree. Okay. Very, very interesting. Now, if you don't mind, Shala, if we could move to RFK Jr., okay,
Yeah.
who we know, I mean, I'm open to being wrong about anything, but from my perspective, this is without a doubt, real deal, freedom fighter, lover, walks the talk freaking completely for a very long time. And I know many of us in our community, we love RFK Jr., we respect him, and he's set to be, I think it's the health secretary. Let us know in the live chats, you guys, if that's the right term. Secretary, is that the right term, Ashala? Secretary of
I
Health?
believe so. I believe
So
it.
he's
Yeah.
still awaiting confirmation. Now, if RFK Jr. was on that stage, I don't mean to put any words in anybody's mouth, but he would not. I would be very surprised if he didn't get up and say something about that statement that was just made. So he's on the total opposite side of the aisle and is going to be President Trump's health secretary. So this is an article from NPR. RFK Jr. faces a complicated confirmation with some opposition on both sides of the aisles. Would you mind, Michelle, if we did a read on RFK Jr.
Mm-hmm.
moving forward?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, now interesting. We're starting off with this very, very powerful card. So, what RFK has as a strength is, first of all, there's a deep, deep wisdom and maturity. He's been around the block a lot. You know,
Right.
he comes from this realm, he knows it very well. He's had to do a lot of inner work to live on the edge of that the way he has. So right from the get-go, like he's not easily going to get into a frontline fight, but he's certainly not going to back down, is what I'm
Right.
hearing, you know? So, and he's got the staying power because he's in it for the right reasons, is what I'm hearing. There's
Mm,
maturity. So we saw that the opposite, right? We saw the little page of cups, the most kind of, let's just say, immature. It's a little
yeah.
immature. I'm gonna whisper
Right.
it, but like these guys are a bit immature. It's like,
Right.
you know, we're talking about people's lives here, folks. Like,
Mhm.
yeah. So, but no, this guy, yeah, he is mature and he has staying power. And so, what's he going to do? He's going to start, it feels like he's going to start. He's got, you know, it in terms of like a strategic uh, protocol, he's going to start with the basics. He knows that he can't go and attack that guy for what he
Mhm.
said about the mRNA vaccine for
Right.
cancer. He can't attack that until he brings the whole conversation right down to the
Mm,
very basics of vaccine injury, proof about the devastating effects. He has to
mhm.
he has to start, and he wants to start, I think, even with children. So I think he's going to start by really working on like halting vaccines and certain vaccine protocols with children. So he's prioritizing that.
Mhm.
Um, Yeah, he's in no way under any illusion that this doesn't exist. He knows about this, has known about it for decades.
Right.
This is not a surprise to him. So, and he's waiting for
Mm.
there to be enough chips in the it's sort of like more monopoly money. He has to pass go a couple
Yeah.
more times so he has enough to, I mean, it's interesting because it is kind of like it's still a bit of a money game, right? And
Right.
so he's waiting for things to line up so he can make his next big strategic move. Whoa,
Ooh.
there's the tower. Okay, so some way or another, this is going to blow up. Oh, wow. Yeah, I mean, there's a legacy here. Something is going to die, but there will be a legacy that remains. So, not really sure exactly what I mean by that or what I'm seeing, but yeah, I feel like we couldn't have a better person in our corner, honestly.
Wow.
Mhm.
That is one powerful read. Oh my
Mhm.
goodness. This is a video of, thank you so much for that, Ashala. This is a video of RFK Jr. last night at the Hispanic inaugural ball. It's a minutes and minutes long video, but we'll just play, this is just 1 minute of him speaking, and he's been very quiet as of late.
Mhm.
I love RFK Jr., so I keep up with him. What's the card you just pointed to?
Well,
The
I'm just
hangman?
pointing at, remember I said
Right.
he's just like, he's biding his time and,
Yep.
he knows all of what is going on. Mhm.
Do you think, and I'm just feeling guided to say this out loud, Ashala, do you think he's at all scared by the prospect of what he's stepping into, or do you think he's ready? I mean, it's normal to feel a little bit of fear, but do you think part of that keeping quiet is just kind of getting himself ready for the
I
intensity of
Let's
this?
put it this way, I don't see fear in him around
Yeah,
his own life. I
yeah,
see concern that he wants to complete his mission.
right.
So I don't feel that it feels like he's pretty spiritually evolved and he's not
Yeah,
afraid of
yeah.
being taken out in
Mhm,
all of this, but he is definitely like he wants to make sure that things are done on his watch and he
mm,
gets, you know, so it'll be interesting to see where like it's so funny that so much of this comes back to money. It keeps coming back
yeah,
around to the money.
yeah,
And yeah, there's going to be when we see that, so it's concerning to me that we're talking about
mhm.
what was it 500, what was it 500 billion.
$500 billion.
I mean, that's inconceivable to me. That's
Yeah,
unconceivable. Like, so
yeah.
that's concerning that that can go into something like this. But meanwhile, we have all these people that have had vaccine injuries
Mm,
and they need care. They need
yeah,
treatment.
yeah,
Like, why are we putting money into more research?
exactly.
So,
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't seen this clip, but let's just listen to this 1 minute clip of RFK Jr. last night.
If you are a well person, you have the American dream at your feet. You have 1,000 different dreams. But if you're sick, you only have one dream, and that's to get better. And we are now have the sickest children of any country in the world. When my uncle was president, 2% of Americans had chronic disease. Today, 60% of our children have chronic disease. When my uncle was president, we spent zero on chronic disease in this country. Today, we spend $4.3 trillion. 77% of American children cannot qualify for military service. This is an existential crisis for our family. And I can promise you that if I get confirmed, that we are going to make America healthy again. Thank you all very much. If you are
Now he knows his stuff. That's without question. Could we do a clarifier on is he going to get confirmed? And I know things can change, but is he going to get confirmed? Supposedly there's a delay in his confirmation hearing. There's some pushback. He's shown up to all the inauguration events, so looks like he is, expected to get confirmed. He was at that ball last night.
Looks good.
Looks good. Okay, awesome. Thank you so much for that, Ashala. Woo! Okay, that was scary with that tower and that death card, but that's like, yeah, he's going against a huge system that profits and feeds off of us being sick, right? So the tower, the death makes sense that something will come to an end and there will be a tower moment or two or three. That makes sense. Anything we haven't covered yet, Ashala, that you want to bring up, whether having to do with this inauguration or just in general before we finish up today's show?
Wow. For some reason, I'm really, I really feel this connection with the children. And
Wow.
yeah, those
Oh
are
my-
just the 3 cards that were in my hand right there. And I feel as though, like, look at this, the children and a new era. There's something. So when I was looking at those cards about the hubris, which is kind of like a sort of immaturity, but it's also a bit of an innocence. There's something about we don't need to like attack that innocence and hubris. We just need to continue to sort of guide it, right? So I think, for example, like all of your, all of our followers, all of the comments, like keep these comments coming, keep focusing and paying attention. And we're going to bring, Trump and these people, we're not going to stop and stop rallying and saying, no, that's not okay. We don't, we didn't just put you in office and now we trust everything that's going on. Like, we want you to keep us informed. We want to put pressure on if it looks like there's even a hint of some nefarious business going on. We're going to call it out.
Yeah.
I feel like we're out of being silenced. That big door is open.
Yep.
And we need to go through this confidently and be like, we are going to, regardless, I think there's always that possibility that the Trump brand, as Janine calls it, was the door opener. And so for us to just sort of put him on a pedestal at this point, and that whole, his whole, political foundation on a pedestal, I think we can do better than that. We just need to keep going and keep moving towards maturing evolution, not knocking these guys over because they're acting foolish. Yeah. It does look really good.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. It does look really good.
Yeah. And it does make sense that there will be some weird bumps along the way with Pluto now in Aquarius, and particularly this week with this Sun conjunct Pluto. So thank you so much, Ashala. You are so good at what you do. Everybody is feeling comforted and uplifted, I think. Relieved, some relief, but also the truth is important. Also, it's like Pluto. We're in that Pluto energy today. Sometimes we have to go deep. Scorpio, like, be the bullshit detector. What's really going on over here? So awesome. Before we finish up, you guys, go check out on the Academy. Of course, we talked about Ashala's new Dowsing level 2 on metal rods is available. You guys can go check that out. As well as Jens has a new Christ consciousness meditation available. Connect with the consciousness of love. I believe there are 2 different meditations, one with audio, one without audio, professional recording, that you can listen to as many times as you like. For the end of time, Jens puts a lot of energies into these meditations. They are very, very good and relaxing and healing. And you guys know that we both offer personal readings over on consultations.beyondmystic.net. You can go check that out in the link below. And we'll see you all next week, next Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern. I'll be in Canada, so I'll be on Eastern time. Ashala, you'll be on Pacific time. It won't be 2 a.m. for me. So looking forward to that. And please remember to like, share, and subscribe to the Beyond Mystic YouTube, Rumble, and X channels. We love you all so, so much. It's crazy times out there. Remember to breathe, remember to ground, and we are all in this together. Love you all and see you soon. Bye.